All right, so welcome back to another episode of, I don't know, productivity and lifestyle tips, I guess I'd be sharing with you guys. So today I want to talk to you about focusing on the process versus the outcome. Because one thing that I've been implementing for a while now isn't so much about goal setting for an outcome-based side of things. Because aiming for a specific outcome never makes us as happy as we think we're going to be. People say, "Oh, I want to get a six pack." Okay, cool. Well, you're not happy when you get a six pack. You know what? I want to move to a better house. Okay, cool. You get to the house. What happens? What, 4, 6 months later, maybe less? Same thing as you buy a new car. It never scratches the itch that you want scratched. You know, your brain is always trying to trick you, and you're always at a constant 7 with happiness. Basically, like life is always a 7. Things could be better. They could always be worse, but you're kind of always comfortable with this 7, right? Sometimes shit gets real hectic and things are worse. Sometimes things seem amazing, everything's lining up and you're having a win, you know, you got a promotion, your relationship's going good, somehow you got an extra bonus at work, you know, all this type of stuff. You got kicked back from the tax, boom, happiness is out of 10. Fuck yeah, I'm traveling, I'm on holidays, I'm in Europe, I'm doing amazing. But then it just comes back to a 7, okay? Because our brain is always trying to trick us to being like, you know what would be even better if we did this, okay? You know, it'd be even better if we did this. The brain is always trying to teach you, or is always trying to trick you into chasing things to make you think that you'll be happier with where you're at. But just think about where you used to be, all right? So let's think about the car you had before this. Were you actually unhappy driving the car you had before? I mean, look, if it was breaking down and shit like that, then yeah, it was probably shitty. But when it was like in a normal stage, like you could have stayed with that car longer. It was good at getting you from point A to B, you know. I'm assuming if it had aircon, it was keeping you cool. It probably was good with, you know, petrol, all that shit. Like it just did the job and you were happy with that. But even though you're technically happy with it, you're like, things could be better. I could have a better car. Same thing with like living in a place. So I've lived in a much nicer place than I was now, but there was actually nothing wrong with the place I lived in before. I just wanted to step up, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, time for a better place I want to look at. And now I've been here for 2 years and my brain's like, you know, it'd be better if we moved into a better apartment. And it's like, oh yeah. And then I start thinking, oh, you know, like I'd love to have an apartment with this, or what if I could have this? Then I would be happy. Then I'd be... No, there's no happiness like when I get to that point. Because again, I'm going to think I am. I'm going to be peaking for a little bit. Yeah, this is fucking great. And then it comes back down to a 7. So what we want to think about is when we have things we're trying to achieve, not focusing so much on the outcome, but instead the process and the work that we're doing in order to get there. Because we get really big hits of dopamine and gratification when we're working towards something and we know we're on the right track, okay? It's not about the achievement, it's about what's the word I'm trying to think? The work to get there is what makes us feel good. Like, you know, you're working hard, you've been pushing, you're like, oh, fuck. And you know that there's this thing you're going to get to at the end, and it's like maybe you did a really hard day's work, and you're like 1 out of the 5 days done. And you're like, fuck, that was tough today, but I know I'm going to be able to get there. And then guess what? You know, you're up in the morning to go and do it again because you want to get there. It's the people who have that long-term goal in place and they put things into place to get there. They feel good not before they feel good before they attain the goal because they're in the process of moving towards where they want to go. Okay? And this is what we want to be thinking about. Think about the processes, the things you have to do, whether it be on a daily basis, a weekly basis, whatever it's going to be, in order to get you towards where you want to go. That's the most important thing. It's not about the actual destination. It's about how you get there. Because again, you're never going to be happy once you get there. Like, life is not complete once you have a 6-pack. Life is not complete once you have, you know, people fucking driving around Mercedes and stuff like that at the moment. Guess what? We're all still stuck in traffic at the end of the day. Okay, it's like you could be stuck in traffic with a Mercedes, or you could be stuck in traffic with a Suzuki, like I have. They're both air conditioned, you know. They're both pretty fucking comfy. I'm still stuck in traffic. What am I gonna do? We're both just as happy. All right. So what we're trying to think about here is like, it's never about that end goal that we're trying to achieve. It's about trying to focus on the process and what's going to move you forwards, because that's what's going to make life more exciting. It's never about the attainment, it's about the drive to get there. So the same thing when it comes to your fitness goals. Do not think about the end goal of having a 6-pack, losing X amount of weight, doing this, and thinking about the outcome each week as the scale going down, because that's not what's going to make you happy, all right? But if you say, I want to be healthier, and you write out what healthier is, and you think, oh, I made better choices with my food this week, guess what? That's process. That's progress. That's moving you forwards. That's what you want to focus on. And that's what's actually going to just make life more enjoyable when you focus on what you're doing on the daily basis versus I'll be happy when. Because you're never going to get to the when. You know, you'll achieve one thing, and then you're like, all right, well, now I've got to keep moving forward to achieve something else. Instead, think about how you can be happy right now with pushing towards your goals and knowing you're on the right track. That's what's going to help with that mindset side of things, and especially moving towards your goals. So I hope that makes sense.